Okay, thank you, Eileen. So what I was saying is, this is from the old curriculum design, right? Not old, I hate the word old. The former curriculum design for primary school, right? For EP. And what the curriculum design says is this. Históricamente, los exponentes lingüísticos eran considerados los únicos contenidos de enseñanza de la lengua extranjera. Actualmente, dentro de la denominación de contenidos, content, se incluye todo lo que se produce en el aula, en interjuego permanente entre contextos, exponentes lingüísticos, tareas y prácticas del lenguaje. Okay? Yes? Okay. Now, explain this to me. What does it mean? Think about, analyze this quotation in light of the theory you read or that you are reading, right? In light of the different methods and different approaches. So what does it mean? Why?
It means
The
sorry.
Anna, there when it sorry.
Yeah.
There when it says prácticas del lenguaje, that it was we call functions.
Functions. Good. Right?
Okay.
Functions of language. Good.
Okay.
Okay. So explain this to me. What does it mean?
That not only that what the teacher says is considered as exponentes lingüísticos, but also the tasks, the context that we are involved, we as teachers and the students in the classroom, and the functions
Okay.
of the language.
Okay.
Also, can it be everything the students do and say and how they start practicing by doing it?
Exactly.
Like, you can
Exactly.
take everything they do and everything they can form and construct as part of the class.
Very good, Jack. Very good. Annie, you wanted
No,
to say?
I was thinking about that the historical, or perhaps in the past, we had to teach. Okay, this is present simple. You have to do the subject, and you have to learn by heart because.
Okay, good. Very good.
Now, no.
Okay, and the idea is that the content, el contenido de nuestras clases, the content of the class was the linguistic exponent. As I said before, passive voice. This is what we need to teach, passive voice. Present perfect. I mean, that's a linguistic exponent. That means nothing.
How?
That means nothing. That is the how, right? That's the wording. This is syntax, grammar. But we cannot teach that without the content, without ideas, because words, grammar, I mean, the linguistic exponents, and by linguistic exponents, it's not just vocabulary, yeah? Be careful, people. Linguistic exponents means everything, the lexical, grammatical constructions, right? Lexis and grammar, they go together. We cannot use it, this is vocabulary and this is grammar. No, they go together. They should go together in our classes. So, the old paradigms stated that the content of language classes was linguistic exponents. Vocabulary, today we are going to see some vocabulary, colors, pets, countries, okay? Vocabulary. And so there were lists of vocabulary, okay? Grammar, right? Passive voice, or let's say reported speech, if you had an advanced course, okay? So that was the past. So this quotation means that there's been a shift in paradigms. We can't go on doing this because the curriculum design says that actualmente, that means now, everything is content. And as you said before, there is an interplay, right? Interplay among contextos, the contexts where language appears, where language is realized, linguistic exponents, of course, the tasks, what you do with the language, and then the functions that has to do with prácticas del lenguaje. So this is a tricky question. When I ask you in the oral exam in August, December, or March, I'm going to show you a teaching sequence. I'm going to show you a video, somebody teaching, something happening in the class, and the question is going to be, what is the teacher teaching? And if you say colors, the present continuous, the present simple, or whatever, you are out, but not out of the classroom. You are out to first year, okay? All right? Because this is something that you need to remember when we are in the classroom and when we plan our classes. We need to take care of what are we going to teach? Well, we are going to work with, I don't know, pets, right? Because the curriculum design says that for primary school, right, there is a context here, as you can see here, that says contextos de la vida cotidiana y escolar. That means students should be able to deal with, sure, so why not start the first class talking about me, about my name, about if you don't want to talk about the family, because you know that sometimes now it's very tricky to talk about families or not, right? But if you feel confident, you can do it. But talk about, students should be able to communicate about themselves. Mi escuela, mis amigos, you see, everything is surrounding the student. Mi familia, mi hogar, mi mascota, they do this, right? Not only in English, but with the other subjects too, and with prácticas del lenguaje too, right? That's why they read, I don't know, Pussy with Boots, right? You know, Pussy with Boots, El gato con botas, right? Or whatever. Mi día a día, that means routines. But doesn't, I mean, this mi día a día doesn't mean that you have to teach them, Sally got up, Sally gets up at 7 o'clock. She gets dressed. She takes breakfast. Then she takes the bus and she goes to the classes. No, because that's not meaningful. So we need to devise a teaching sequence that is meaningful for them, okay? Then, mi día a día, mi barrio, mi ciudad, mi provincia, y mi país. So students should be able to deal with Argentinian data in English in fourth grade. Can they do that? Yes, of course they can do that. They can say, this is Argentina. Argentina is in the south of America, right? There are 22 provinces, 23 provinces. I live in Buenos Aires. Here is Buenos Aires. So can't they say that? Of course they can. Okay, and the idea is that what linguistic exponents are they using there? Let's suppose that we are talking about this. I mean, they should be, by the end of the year, they should be able to describe Argentina, the country, the province, the city, and the neighborhood. So, of course, there are, it is. So you see that the linguistic exponents are going to depend on the content. It's not the other way around. Okay? So if we want to deal with this context, well, we can use a poem, we can use a song, right? We can use a fairy tale, a novel, a cartoon, graffitis, videos, right? And then all that has to do with la vida cotidiana y lo escolar should be connected to the school. So if we are going to talk about mi barrio, mi ciudad, mi provincia, y mi país, which of these contexts do you think should be articulated and related to?
All of them.
Okay,
No,
try to be more specific. I mean, but I don't know. Animales extintos, I don't think so.
I can do an activity. No.
It will be more about
Yeah.
the space, el espacio, mi barrio, mi ciudad, mi provincia, el
Okay.
espacio, mi que.
Las actividades humanas, human relationships. En mi barrio, ¿quién está? Well, there is a greengrocers, a butcher's, or not, there is a big supermarket, right? La organización social, how is society organized, right, in your province? Okay? So you see that everything is connected. So have a look at this quotation here, this fragment, sorry. It says, los contenidos propiamente lingüísticos, I mean, the linguistic exponents, deben darse en contextos que confieren sentidos a los intercambios verbales y en cuyo seno tienen lugar las prácticas del lenguaje. Entre otros posibles se proponen 3 contextos, right? So, the curriculum design says, these are some of the contexts where language can appear. But language is in context. So remember, written expression 2. If there is language and that language appears in context, what do we have? What are we creating?
Discourse.
Good, discourse. So what are we going to teach? Discourse. We are going to teach, we are going to help students create discourse. And discourse is not just oral discourse, right? It doesn't only relate to intercambios verbales. It has to do with written discourse too. Multimodal discourse, be careful. Multimodality. Our students are exposed to a lot of multimodal texts, right? How to read a photograph, how to read a drawing, how to read a movie, okay? So, remember this, what are we helping students do in our classes? Create discourse. This is fundamental, people. This is fundamental for you to understand what we are doing. We are not teaching words. We are not teaching structures, grammar structures. We are helping them communicate through discourse. And discourse should be meaningful, because what is discourse? Language in context. Is that clear? Yes? Okay. When you repeat that, right, because you're going to repeat that all the time, make it meaningful. Provide examples, right? Provide examples. I'm going to give you an example. For example, we are dealing with, you know that in primary school, everybody's always talking about healthy food, eating healthily, right? We should eat healthily, right? Do not eat so many hamburgers and eat more pasta and salad and vegetables or whatever. So one possible class or teaching sequence could be, okay, I'm going to help students, I don't know, teach them to learn how to cook, right? So the text that I'm going to use, the genre, another concept to pay attention to. The genre, I'm going to stop here because I want to see you all, or most of you. The genre that I'm going to use is going to be a recipe. Okay? For the ones who were with me the other class, think about that, the recipe, right? So the recipe, I mean, does everybody know what a recipe is? Well, most, right? The ones who don't like how to cook, what to cook, cooking in general, right? We do not pay attention to recipes, but we know that in recipes, we need to know the ingredients, and then the process, the procedure, okay? So with the text, with that text, which is the recipe, is presented with certain characteristics. What are the characteristics? What are the genetic characteristics of recipes?
They give instructions.
Okay, but Lorena, you started from the end, because first, what do you need? Okay, but first, what do you need?
The ingredients.
List. A
Proportion.
list.
A list of
Okay,
ingredients.
you need the ingredients, and the ingredients are expressed how? One besides the other,
No.
No, one below the other.
one below the other. So somebody said a list. Students know what a list is. They know what a list is because they know what a list is in Spanish. So take that knowledge from Spanish, think about that, use that knowledge from Spanish, and then build it, transfer it into your English class. So what is a list? Well, the list is the expression of, in this case, the ingredients. Now the ingredients, how do we express the ingredients? What
Measure.
linguistic, what? Yes, Marianne?
You use a cup of milk. Or
Okay, now, good, Mariana, but think from the point of view of linguistic exponents. What linguistic exponents, what lexicogrammatical structure do we need for the lists?
This.
Sorry, Sol?
This is.
I couldn't listen to you.
Quantities, maybe.
Okay, first of all, quantities. First
Well,
of all, quantities.
fractions or
Numbers.
quantities.
Numbers.
Okay, Vero says numbers.
Numbers.
Numbers that express
Fractions.
quantities, right?
Yes.
So you said 1 cup, 1 kilo of. So first of all, the list that are figures or numbers. Okay, and then after that,
Nouns.
nouns. Nouns.
The utensils,
Okay, utensils.
teaspoon
and
or,
ingredients.
for
Okay,
example.
utensils
bowl.
and ingredients. But as Andres said, nouns. Because in a recipe, the list of ingredients do not include verbs. Never. You don't have a verb there. Think about it. So whatever you think about lists, right? Especially the list of a recipe, what you find are nouns. So what I mean here is that you need to start thinking that the what we are teaching, that we are dealing with, and the how, the linguistic exponents should go together. So what are we going to teach from the point of view of linguistic exponents? In that class, noun phrases. That would be the content, that would be the linguistic content. Okay? Right? Then, for example,
Yes.
a task, right, that is related to prácticas del lenguaje would be reading a recipe. So this is another thing that we need to teach them, to teach our students, how to read a recipe. Because it's not just, here's a text, read it. There are strategies for reading. So we need to teach strategies too. Okay? So in a recipe, first of all, the list of nouns with quantities, right? And then the nouns, good. And then Lore said the instructions, of course, right? The instructions, one after the other, right? Again, think about the...
You can use ordinal numbers there if you want.
Okay, all right, good. Think about the instructions and think about the linguistic exponents, the lexicogrammatical...
Orders maybe.
Okay, orders. How do you express orders, Vero? How do you express orders?
Mix something, do something.
And what language? How do you
There
express?
you got the verbs. Like
Okay.
add some milk, mix
All right,
the
good. You're giving me the examples, but think from the theoretical point of view, from
In the imperative way.
Imperative, yes.
imperatives. So the contents here, from the linguistic point of view, noun phrases, imperatives. From the prácticas del lenguaje, reading a recipe. From functions, giving orders, or not orders, better say instructions, right? And something important too, the connectors, first, second, third, okay?
Then after that, or I don't know,
Exactly,
in a recipe, you
exactly,
can use that.
Exactly. So what I mean, people, this is an example of telling you that that language should be in context. And this is a context that has to do with mi familia, mi hogar, whatever, but then we are transferring it to the school. All right? And then this is, when students find that this has a real meaning in life, they would start be more, I mean, they would be motivated. Because you know what? Recipes are written in the same way in most cultures. So what you can do is to bring a recipe in French, in English, in Spanish, in Italian, and ask them to compare, right? And you can work with cognate words, cognates, right? Transparencies, right?
Yes.
Okay, so a ver qué palabras son parecidas, similares, cómo se dicen igual, right? So what you're opening the range of content. So you are not dealing with language alone. You are dealing with everything, with language plus the task. The task is to read a recipe and follow instructions, or then the functions is to give instructions and to follow instructions, all right? Within a context. So whenever we discuss content, please remember this. Content is the interplay. Content knowledge is the interplay among contextos, contexts, linguistic exponents, functions, and tasks. Everything is what we need to be paid attention to. All right, everything. So when you plan your classes, right? When you plan your classes, think about this. Do not concentrate only on form, but you need to concentrate on the content and the contexts. All right? Like, I'm going to show you this. I mean, I hadn't prepared this for today, but I'm going to show you this. Some of you might know it because I gave this presentation at the TTC a couple of years ago. Do you know this book, Susan Labs? Okay. Okay.
No.
It's a beautiful book. It's a beautiful book for kids. And it says Susan laughs. And it says Susan laughs. Susan sings. Susan flies. Susan swings. Have a look at the illustrations, right? They are very beautiful. They are simple, right? Susan is good. Susan is bad. So this idea of human beings are good and bad, right? No somos buenos únicamente. No, right? We are good and we are bad too, right? Susan is happy. Susan is sad. So sometimes we are happy, but sometimes we are sad. This is normal. This happens all the time. And then the story goes, right? Susan dances, Susan rides, Susan swims, hides, Susan is shy and loud, Susan is angry and proud, Susan splashes, spins, waves, right? Then Susan is right and wrong, Susan is weak and strong, Susan trots, roads, planes, well, and there are images accompanying all these phrases, right? Sorry. This is, and then the book says, this is Susan through and through, just like me, just like you. And then appears Susan.
Mm.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if you were to use this text in a class, and be careful with what you say here, eh?
Ay, me voy a contener.
What would you teach?
Empathy.
What content? Okay, start thinking of what is content. What content would you teach?
¿Qué sé yo? I don't know.
What content would you teach?
That we all can do the same.
Good. Good.
Really?
That's a content.
Bien, una bien. De las veces que hablé, una bien.
No, Marian, everything that you said is okay, because this is the place where we need to discuss and express our ideas, right? We are never wrong completely, right? So think about this. So what we would emphasize in the story is the meaning of the story. So what Mariana is saying, I would teach meaning, the story. And what is the story? That
The message. That
okay,
it has.
it's the message. Okay, she has a disability. She's different from some other people, but we are all different. We are not the same. This idea that we are all the same. No, we are not the same. We are different people. But we can live all together because we have to respect each other. But she can laugh, she can sing, she can jump with the help of others. All right?
Maybe you can do the same as us, but in different way.
Okay, perfect. Okay, in a different way. And is that wrong? No, it's different, just different. So this is the very first theme that we need to take into account to facilitate to our students. The idea is, how do we do it? All right, so that would be part of the content. Now, if we think of tasks, tareas, the tasks, what tasks are we going to teach here? What prácticas del lenguaje, that means functions, are we going to teach? In what context? First of all, let's think about the text. What kind of genre is it? It's a story.
Yes,
It's a tale. It's a tale. It's a story, right? It's a story. So it goes within the contextos literarios. All right? Good. So what else? So think about tasks, think about functions, and, well, contexts and linguistic exponents. I mean, so you need to think about 4 axes, right?
It's the context can be the family, familiar.
Good. All right. Family and my neighborhood, my friends, people surrounding me. Okay, very good. Right.
My school too.
Okay, your school too. Now, tareas, think about tasks. What are you going to do with this text?
Reading the story.
Sorry, Noe?
And maybe designing, reading the story of Susan.
Okay, first of all, reading.
It's a task.
Okay, first of all, reading the story. That would be one of the tasks, to read the story. Through which functions? Well, speaking, describing, classifying, right? So we need to start thinking about that, the functions. So whenever we discuss content, we need to think about that. So for next meeting, which is going to be the 31st, Monday the 31st, I want you to think of what would you do in a class with this text. Let's see that, let's make it in the middle for 5th grade. What would you do? I don't want you to design a teaching sequence, just ideas. What would you do? Think of the students, they are 10 years old, right? And the only text that the book has is Susan laughs, Susan cries, Susan is good and Susan is bad, and then the picture, right? Everything, that's everything. So what ideas come into your mind? Thinking of, we are helping, or we should help students create discourse, all right?
What they think about the tale.
Of course, of course. What do you
they
think
like to
about
say?
it? What
Maybe
do
you
you think? And do that. Okay, right.
Or maybe tell us what they can do or what they like doing.
What would they like to say to this Susan?
Okay, what would you say to Susan, right? Exactly, exactly. Good. So people, I hope that our virtual class, our classroom, I hope it will open soon. Material is ready there. There are 3 or 4, I guess, 3 or 4 very short videos of teachers teaching English in an English class. And there are some questions for you to think about it. One of the question is, what is the teaching teaching? What is the teacher teaching? So be careful with what you say, all right?
Colors.
You need, yeah, I give you. You tell me colors and I give. I mean, that's a possibility, Loren, right? That's a possibility, right? The teacher's teaching colors. Okay, that's one part, right? Then you have to continue. So you have to analyze those videos in light of the theory that you are reading, right? Can you identify techniques, approaches, okay, methods in those videos, right? In which parts? What do you know about them? Okay, so be ready. You need to be ready to express yourself, to tell me, right? To discuss with your companions. That's the only way that we are going to advance with this, okay? Now, it would be interesting that all your ideas, that you jot down your ideas in your portfolio, right? So in your portfolio, you can write a title like My Ideas About the Text Susan Loves, right? And then you write something. So I see that you are working. Your portfolio is the evidence that you are following a process and that you are working weekly for this subject. Okay? Because fundamentos de la enseñanza y el aprendizaje can't be studied in a sitting. Like I sit, I take all the books, I read everything, and then I vomit everything in the final exam. No, you can't do that. So you need to incorporate knowledge and you need to build knowledge little by little with the help of your companions, with my help, with the help of the bibliography. Okay, and with the help of your children. I see that Andrea Lopez is with the kid, right? So we can show, then Andrea, you can tell the story to your kid and see what he says. Okay, good. So we are meeting again the 31st, people.
Anna?
Yes.
Sorry. Just a question.
Yeah.
Where can we find this story? It is in the curriculum design, no?
No, this is
The link.
No, you know what? It's a very expensive book. I couldn't find it here. What I showed you, you know, this is a secret. Wait, can I stop recording?
Yes.